So reading from 5.14. Na kartrutvam na karmani lokasya srijati prabhu na karma phalasam yogam svabhavastu pravartate. So kartrutva means the sense of agency, sense of doership, karta, doer. So kartrutva means the sense of agency, proprietorship, sense of doership, sense of ownership. And na karmani, nor the activities. So nor the sense of the doer, nor the activities. Lokasya srijati prabhu. So lokayati here, lokam need not create the world, need not mean the world. So lokasya means, I think it can mean here who expands on the activities in this world. So lokasya srijati prabhu. So whoever is the soul, prabhu here, which means the soul. Na kartrutvam na karmani. So the activities do not touch him. Na karma phala samyogam. So three things Krishna is telling, it doesn't actually relate with the soul. What is it? Kartrutva, karmani, karma phala samyogam. So nor is he enjoying the fruits, bad or good, of this material world, nor is he the doer, nor is he related to the activities. So the doership or the activities or the fruits that accrue thereof, all of them actually do not touch the soul. So if the soul is not the agency through which these activities are being performed, then who's performing these activities? Now Krishna is telling Svabhavastu pravartate. Svabhavaha. So everyone has got a Svabhavam. Svabhava means and nature that has been imbibed by prolonged association with the three modes of material nature. So Prabhupada is saying in the purport, the living entity or the Supreme Lord is distinct from matter, which is another nature called inferior of the Lord. Somehow, the superior nature has been in contact with material nature since time immemorial. The temporary body or material dwelling place which he obtains is the cause of varieties of activities and their resultant reactions. So, the material dwelling place of activities which he obtains is the cause of varieties of activities and their resultant reactions. So, living in such a conditional atmosphere, one suffers the results of the activities of the body by identifying himself with the body. It is ignorance acquired from time immemorial that is the cause of bodily suffering and distress. So, the reason why we are suffering is because of avidya. So Prabhupada is saying avidya kama karmabhihi. Because of avidya, I have a certain desire, and by those desires, I identify with the body and I perform such actions which accrue reactions. So Prabhupada is saying the temporary body is the cause of varieties of activities, which means the body we inherit also has got a certain svabhava alongside with it. Some bodies can only enjoy so much, some bodies can only eat so much, some bodies can only speak so much. In this way, everyone has got everyone is given a certain body. Krishna mentions this in the 15th chapter, Shariram Yad Avapnoti. Shariram Yad Avapnoti. He receives a certain type of a body. Yat Utkramati Ishwaraha. Grihitvaitani Samyati Vayuhu Gandhan Ivashayat. So in this way, the living entity gets a certain body. Yat Chapi Utkramati Ishwaraha. Utkramati. He gives up. Ishwaraha, the person who's inside this body, Shariram Yadavapnoti Utkramati. He gets this body and gives up. Grihitva etani samyati. All this is possible because of the Gandhan, Vayuhu Gandhan iva ashayat. Right? So it's because of the impressions he is carrying. Shrotam chakshuhu sparshanam cha rasanam ghranam evacha adhishtaya manastayam vishayan upasevate. So as soon as you choose a body, then a certain type of thinking comes, a taste of eating comes, a certain taste of sleeping comes, sakshuhu, sparshanam, rasanam, ghranam, certain type of smelling comes. So we can say everyone is the same in terms of the soul. But just like we see differences between the animals and the human beings, and the animals and animals, between even dogs, there are differences, between cats, there are differences. Similarly, between human beings also there are differences, and everyone is taking a different body. And if we undertake an activity in alignment with the bodily nature that we have accrued, then we have accepted, then that is called dharma. So the reason why there is dharma in relationship with varna or ashrama or stri dharma or whatever it is because the activity one performs must actually be in alignment with the type of body one has taken. So we do not know what we have undertaken or what we have accepted. We think, oh, I am a male or I'm a female, I'm a XX or XY chromosome. That's all we know actually. But the Shastra can see much more. Shastra is telling you have a svabhavastu pravartate. You are born with a certain svabhavam. And after having that svabhavam, if you undertake an activity that is against the svabhavam I have undertaken, you have inherently, then that leads to a conflict. That leads to a conflict. So the varna and ashrama is based on the svabhavam of a person. And based on the svabhava of the person, that is why Prabhupada said there is a social and a spiritual division. Social division is the varna. The spiritual division is the ashrama. So social division is that every person has got a certain svabhava. So a person can either be adept for some amount of tapasya, while other person cannot perform tapasya by his very nature. So in this way, different souls, right? Some souls are born with a body which is capable of being a rishi. Some souls are, capable of performing a lot of activities, external activities or mental activities or intellectual activities, or in this way, there are different combinations that exist. So one must understand, though he has accepted this svabhava, he himself is separate from this svabhava itself, which is the cause of all these activities. Like for instance, I buy a phone, and after buying that phone, there is a framework within that phone. Now, even if I want to install an app that is maybe that sits on Android, I cannot install it on iPhone. It's not possible. So the iPhone is limited to what it can actually accept. But I, by nature, I'm separate from the phone. But because I've accepted a phone, the functionalities are limited by the phone that I'm operating. Similarly, as soon as we accept a body, we are limited what activities we can do, what activities we cannot do by the very nature of the body. Adhishtanam tata karta, Krishna mentions in the 18th chapter. Karanam cha pratak vidham vividaha cheshtaha daivam saivatra panchamam. So these are the 5 causes of action Krishna mentions. So adhishtanam means the body, the place of action is very important. So Krishna in this shloka mentions that it is because of ignorance that is acquired from time immemorial that is the cause of bodily suffering and distress. And as soon as the living entity becomes aloof from the activities of body, he becomes free from the reactions as well. So this is called Krishna consciousness. So when we chant the Hare Krishna mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, we realize that we do not have any sangha, any relationship with all the activities of the body, mind, and intelligence. Because this is all performed, Krishna also mentions, prakritehe kriyamanani. It is performed by the potency of the 3 modes of material nature. Elsewhere, the Upanishad mentions, parashaktihi vividhaiva shruyate svabhaviki jnana balakriyacha. So the jnana shakti, the bala shakti, and the kriya shakti. There are 3 shaktis of the Maya, 3 modes of material nature. So the first Shakti is Jnana Shakti. The second Shakti is Balam, means the tendency to do something. And the Kriya and the action itself. So the 3 Shaktis are necessary to create this world. And after this world is created, to perform anything in this world, you need these 3 Shaktis. And this world is being created by the material energy independently. Krishna doesn't create this world. Sometimes people say, Krishna only created this world. I mean, that is also in one sense true. It's not that the material energy can independently create. So wherever it is said Krishna creates this world, it is to stress the fact that the material energy does not act independently. But actually, the material energy only performs all these activities. That is why the Brahma Samhita mentions, does anyone know which shloka it is this? Who knows the shloka? Srishti Sthiti Pralaya Sadhana Shakti Rekha. Right? So she only performs Srishti Sthiti Pralaya Sadhana. She performs everything very easily. Sadhana Shakti Rekha. She's the agency. Shakti Eka. The Shakti only performs everything. And the Shakti Chayeva Yasya Bhuvanani. Bibharti Durga. She only maintains this, Durga Devi. Ithan Rupam api Yasya Cheshthate sa Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. So she is only performing through this Svabhavastu Pravartate. She is performing. And while she is performing these activities, the soul is getting the false impression that he is actually the doer. So Bhaktivinoda Maharaj mentions this very nice example of how a son, sometimes taken, especially in India, this happens very often. He sits on the top of the motorbike and the father takes him for a ride, and the child also wants to feel as if as if he's driving the bike, and he places his hands on the father is having his hands on the accelerator and the brake, the throttle, and the child also places his hands on his father's hands actually, and he says and then he just he starts driving the car, sorry, riding the motorbike. And when he turns his head to the left, as soon as the father turns the left, and he actually starts believing at some point while he's riding the motorcycle, as if he were actually driving. He gets that actual sense, right? And then he comes back and tells his mother that I only drove the motorbike. And the mother laughs and says, yes, you drove the motorbike. You drove very well. And he beams, with pride, and he is very happy about it. The father and mother both know that actually he cannot drive the bike, and the agency is actually coming from the father. So similarly, through the agency of false ego, we get an actual sense as if we are doing everything. So we don't realize this unless we reach the platform of the mode of goodness, which is what Krishna is telling. So when we reach the mode of goodness, we actually realize that we are aloof from the activities of the modes of material nature. Right? This is the close to the Brahma Bhuta stage. Of course, this is not the end on and be all. So the jnanis stop here. The jnanis say, when you realize you are not the doer, when you are witnessing all your activities, when you are the witness, and that's it. That's the end of yoga. You silence your mind and you realize you are the witness, and boom, that's the end of spiritual journey. Most 99% of people who read Bhagavad Gita, they understand there is nothing beyond this. But poorly informed as they are, they don't understand this is the beginning of actually real spiritual life. To understand we are not the doer of material activities, but not just that, but actually we are the doer of spiritual activities. Right? So, and there we depend, just like we are depending on the material energy for the material activities to be performed. While performing spiritual activities of Krishna consciousness, we depend on the spiritual energy, which is why we are chanting Hare Krishna. So while we chant Hare Krishna, we are depending on the spiritual energy of the Lord, and if we are taking ashrayam, the spiritual energy, we can actually be situated in the service of the Lord Krishna. So, so that's what the shloka talks about. So I'll stop here. Any questions or comments are welcome.